Hello, my name is Denise Galoni. 3 years ago, I started my own home-based business. I was so fortunate to help so many women help me along the way. In this episode of Empowering Women, you'll meet three of those women: Pam Wagand, Fawn Moore Campbell, and Laura Crooks. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Today, my guest is Fawn Moore Campbell of Sidney B. Moore Estate Sales. Hi, Fawn. How are you?
Hi, Denise. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for being here. I know how busy you are.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Sidney B. Moore Estate Sales.
Yes.
They've been around for a long time.
Over 30 years.
30. Is it a family business?
It is a family business. I actually started working for my family in 1996, so a little over 20 years, yes.
Do you only serve the local area, or do you go all over with your estate sales?
No, I serve Greater Pittsburgh. Our customer base is close to 4,000 people, and it is literally from, say, Greensburg to Beaver, all over Greater Pittsburgh.
So you go all over?
I absolutely will, yes.
Now, you don't go to every estate sale yourself, do you? You have staff for that, don't you?
Well, no, I have staff, but I'm physically at every sale. I'm setting the sale up. I'm organizing it, photographing it, pricing it. So yes, definitely, I'm at every physical sale, yes.
When we say estate sales, people have some misconceptions about estate sales.
Absolutely. It doesn't have to be an estate. Nowadays, people might have a sale if they're moving, downsizing, even for, I guess, a divorce, foreclosure. For any reason, I can conduct a sale, yes.
And what type of items do you sell in an estate sale?
That's another misconception. I will sell anything. It doesn't have to be antiques. It doesn't have to be a huge sale. It can be a small sale. It can be antiques and collectibles. It can be all new items. It can be household items. We sell everything from, say, garden tools to cars and boats and motorcycles. So yeah, we can sell pretty much anything.
So you have a wide range of things that you sell.
I do, and that's why I like to have a good sale has a nice variety and has a little bit of everything. So yes, I pretty much can sell almost anything.
Is there something for every price point, or is it?
Oh my gosh!
Is it something? I think people think that estate sales, you have to have a lot of money to go there.
Well, a lot of people think that maybe estate sales are overpriced compared to, say, a garage sale, but no, I have my 50-cent to $1 boxes, but of course all the way up to collectibles and higher end items. But no, there really is something for everybody's budget, of course.
What's the most unique item you've sold at an estate sale?
Okay, so my favorite one is I found a jersey. It only had a number on it, but then underneath one of the corners, right under one of the buttons, it said Cy, C-Y, and then it had a number. It was from the 30s. Well, I basically researched it, found out it was Cy Blanton from the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh my goodness.
And it ended up selling for, I think, close to $3,500. But this is where the knowledge comes in that, researching this item, what they would do is they would sell the jerseys to, I guess, other teams and remove the P. So, they could sew on their own emblem, but that was kind of exciting. That was like in a plastic bag in a basement. So you definitely have to go through everything.
So you don't know what you're going to find.
No, it's a different house, different city every day. I can do up to 6 sales on a Saturday. So I like to stay busy and I like to keep it interesting for my customers.
Fawn, if someone has a tight budget,
yes,
and they want to go estate sale shopping,
yes,
can you give us a couple of tips, insider tips, of what they?
Okay, the advice I always give is I always post photos on my website. So I always tell everybody that not every sale is going to be local, but when I post, I can do 50 to, say, several hundred photos. You can see what's available at each sale, but you can also kind of get an idea of where the items are located. So it depends on how bad you want an item. I have customers that have lined up as early as, say, 2 in the morning. So you see where the item is. Looking through the photos, lots of people actually even look at the county website to see the maps of the house and the layout, just so they can see, where each item is and kind of have a route, planned, the morning of the sale.
How do you advertise the sales?
Okay, I do extensive advertising for each sale. It does hit my close to 4,000 customer base, but what's nice is we're in a different city every, we have up to 6 sales. each sale is advertised individually locally. So it depends on what papers are available, but it always hits my Facebook, my Instagram, Twitter. We do utilize Craigslist only for keywords, just to advertise the sale itself. We do yard signs, street signs. I really try to cover all of the bases to confirm a good turnout for my client and myself as well.
Why should someone consider having an estate sale than, say, having a garage sale?
Okay, that's a good question, and I get that question a lot. What you have to understand is a lot of times, A, you're emotionally attached to it, and B, you might not have the knowledge. So most times you're either going to overprice it and the item is not going to sell at all, or you're going to underprice it. So both ways you're really not going to make any money. You're not going to maximize, and you don't have the customer base that I have. So that's what you're paying for when you hire an estate sale company.
You definitely can't reach 4,000 people with a sign.
Not if you try. No, definitely not.
Oh, that's great. If someone wants to have an estate sale,
yes.
what couple steps should they do? Should they call you first? Should they organize their things first? What do they do?
I organize for them. I try to catch them early enough. I tell them to focus on finding personal items. I will set aside, I find photos, birth certificates, death certificates. Wow. I find a lot of things and people think that they found, all of the personal. Go through your photos, go through your papers. Don't waste, I say, make a list of priorities, because I'm going to organize it for you. I'm going to go through the cabinets, the closets, the drawers.
So you do everything.
It is full service. Other than meeting me for a one-time consultation, I will literally do everything for you. So you should focus on finding, the more sentimental and personal items that somebody in the family is going to ultimately want.
Okay. So if I wanted to have an estate sale,
yes.
I would just call you and you come and meet with me and look through my home? Or how does it work? What are the steps?
I do. My consultation is always free, and what I'm doing is I'm going through the house and I'm taking notes that I will use for advertising later. The clients just take me from room to room. I have them point out any items that they might want to keep, or any items that are not going to be for sale that may be listed with the house. So basically, it's super easy. It can be approximately 30 minutes. It just depends on how many questions that they have and how much, information. Most people have never had an estate sale, so they don't really know what to expect. So right. I'll take as much time as needed, but just a quick call, it could be a quick consultation, and then we basically look on the calendar and I offer to schedule them right at that moment, or they can be in touch with me at a later date.
So it's a fairly easy process, because sometimes they are at emotional times when people are having these.
It is. I try to alleviate stress. I surely don't want to add stress, for my clients. So they're calling me, and that's why I want to be there for them, but I don't want to create additional stress. I want them to be able to focus on what's important and what really needs to be done, and then I can take care of all of the rest.
Very good. Puts their mind at ease a little bit.
It does. It really does. Yes.
Fawn, is there anything else you want to tell the audience, or you want them to know about your company or the estate sales?
What people should know is, you want somebody with experience. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I have a large customer base. We are heavily insured. You also want, I list dozens and dozens of testimonials on my website. You want to see, basically look and see how each sale is marketed. So basically just do your research ahead of time, and it's nice just because I'm, upfront with everybody about everything, because most of my business is referrals. So I want every client that hires me to say that they would use me again and use my services, or that they would refer me to a friend. So
thank you for being here today, Fawn. I think you cleared up a lot about estate sales.
I hope so.
I learned a lot too. I'll have to come check out some of your sales.
I know. I look forward to it. So thank you.
And continue success with Sydney Boris Estate Sales. It's been around a long time, and hopefully many more years.
I hope so as well. Thank you.
Thank you. My guest today is Pam Wagon. Hi, Pam. How are you?
Hey, Denise, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for being here. I know how busy you are. Now, you're the owner of Crown Employment Services.
Correct.
What Crown Employment Services, do you specialize in jobs that are full-time, part-time, temporary? What type of jobs do you have in your employment service?
Well, first, thanks for inviting me to chat with you today.
Thanks for being here.
You bet. Crown Employment Services is a full-service staffing company, and as such, we provide all kinds of positions. We have full-time, we have part-time, we have temp to hire, direct hire, flexible staffing, and true temporary. In today's world, the majority of people are looking for temp to hire, businesses and employees. So we address both. We also have positions in administrative support, clerical, warehousing, technical, hospitality, industrial.
So you've been in this industry a long time, haven't you?
I started in 1990 as a personnel specialist for a contract security company, and that was my first exposure to it. The company went out of business, or was sold actually, and so I applied to a blind ad, and it was for a branch manager position for a company out of Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
And they wanted a startup company. So luckily, I was chosen for the position. I have to thank the late Chad Kaunas, who taught me how to start a business from scratch. And that is actually a very difficult task if you don't know what you're doing. And thanks to the Kaunas family, I had a rewarding career for 20 years with them. They moved out of Pennsylvania, and in 2013, I opened my own company called Crown Employment Services.
It's funny, Pam, you mentioned they had an effect on you starting your business.
Correct.
When I first met you, I was just starting out my business, and I
Right.
learned so much from you. I call this show Empowering Women because women empower other women. And I just want to say thank you for that, because I've learned so
You
much,
bet.
so much from you.
No worries. And that's what you need to do. I was taught by Chad and continued on for 20 years, and it gave me. It was easier for me to start Crown Employment Services as a second startup company, because you have no furniture, you have no office, you have no tables, you have nothing, and you have to come from scratch. And luckily, 5 years later, here I am.
Here you are.
Right.
Now I hear people say that there are no jobs in Pittsburgh.
No, that's not true. There's a lot of true. I have plenty of job openings that I can't staff because there just aren't people to staff them, or they're not coming in to apply. And it's what people want to do. People talk that they want a position, but that's not always what they want. You have to really treat your job search as a job. You can't just send a few resumes out and say, I'm looking for work. That doesn't happen. You have to really think of your job search as a job and work at it. Research the company and decide what you want.
Pam, piggybacking off that, what are some of the mistakes that you see that people make when they come to an interview with you or their resumes? I'm sure there's some common things that you see.
Well, I mean, actually, people take the job market and their job search for granted. The unprofessional way people come in today's world is you wouldn't even imagine. They come in shorts for an interview. They come in all different attire that wouldn't have been acceptable 20 years ago. It just didn't happen. And as we go through the years, it gets worse. They also, their attitude about getting a job, many people think that it's they who decide what they make and where they go and what position, when really it's a mutual sort of position, or the employer and they need to come up with how and what they want to do. But a lot of employees think they can decide, and that's just, the job market's not that small, or the pool is not that small, I should say.
What tips can you give the audience for someone that may have been out of the workforce for a while, that's trying to get back into the workforce?
I think they need to call Crown.
They need to call Crown. There we go.
Well, that's what I think. Seriously, I think people need to open their parameters for their job search. Many people think, okay, I want to work 2 blocks from my house and I want to make what I made at my last company. They have to understand that the employer decides where they work. And you're going to stay unemployed if you don't open the parameters to your job search. You also have to tell people what you did, not what you want to do. Even if they're unemployed or they've been out of the workforce, if they volunteered, that is like having a job. Housewives, that is like having a job, and you have to make action statements to show what you have done. So I think that is important.
Are there advantages of taking a temporary job? Does that lead sometimes to a full-time position?
The majority of what we do is temp to hire positions.
Okay.
So definitely, even a position that you don't believe is temp to hire, many times do change into a temp to hire arrangement. But many employers in today's world use temp to hire as the way to recruit. It's less costly for them. They don't have to put the ads in. They don't have to go through all the resumes. They tell us what they need, and we provide that person or the skill set, and we test, and we're drug free. So they're getting a person that's already sort of pre-qualified to interview versus going through a stack of resumes.
That makes it a lot easier.
It makes it easier for, and the temp to hire arrangement is good not only for the employer, it's good for the employee because they get to view to hire the client. The client doesn't always like to know that arrangement. They think it's only on them, but the employee is also deciding in that time frame whether they want to work for that company or not.
And the companies that call you, they're looking for someone. Are they large companies, small companies, a variety?
It's a variety. I sort of work more with the middle avenue, not the big corporations. And there's a lot of business reasons for why I don't do that.
Sure.
But that is where our niche is. We do everything from picker packers to, I have a director of marketing position that's open that's 80 to 100 grand. So,
so people, you have a wide variety of positions.
People call for what positions they have, and we will certainly recruit for those positions.
Okay. You talked about how it's a completely different job market. Have you seen social media and other things that have hurt people's chances of finding a job?
I do believe social media can hurt a person's chance of getting a job. Not all employers will really look on social media. But if they do, certainly you don't want them to see your rant about whatever you were mad about 3 days ago, or you're having a fight with somebody, or your political views. And they certainly don't want to see pictures of people drunk, or when you were in college at a frat party or sorority party or whatever. Rule of thumb, I think, would be to not put something on if you wouldn't show it to your grandmother or your parents.
Okay.
Rule of thumb, I think that would be a good idea. However, if you're going to do that, put yourself under another name. There's a lot of people that use just their first and middle name or something like that. But you have to be cognizant of what you put online. Once it's online forever.
Right. I think people they're not aware of that sometimes. They just put things on there. They don't think about the consequences.
Correct. They don't care, and they don't, employers, I don't know that they really look as much, because if they have it so you have to be friended, then that's one thing they may not be able to. But somebody might share it with, your friend might share it with their friends, and on it goes. Next thing you know, your employer knows, and you're out of a job.
Pam, real quick, can you walk us through the steps? If I was looking for a position and I called Crown, what would the steps be? How does the process go?
First, you'd be set up for an interview to come in and meet with us. It's really important. We don't do the online or interview over the web. You have to come in and actually physically apply with us. Once that happens, then you come in for your testing. You have to do testing, whether it's clerical or industrial. The picker packer has to take testing just as a clerical person or administrative or management person. We have a variety of packages we can use for different positions, but normally we do a standard that everybody has to take, and then it's specific to each client. Once we do that, we check your references, we check your background, and then we can offer you positions. All right, so you have to pass our minimum requirements before we can offer you positions. Once we offer you positions, I would say about a third of the people that apply actually go to work for us. That's not because they all get are not eligible for work. Sometimes they don't want the work we have, i.e. it might not be in the location, it might not be the pay rate. They want X amount and this is a quarter less. And that's where I'm saying you need to open your parameters if you really want to get a job.
Thank you so much for being here and giving all this wonderful information to everybody. My guest today is Laura Crooks from You Bloom Wellness. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Denise.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm excited to do this.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. I am a nurse by background. Spent decades in the ICU setting as well as some chronic pain management outpatient setting, and just got a little frustrated with the come to us when you're broken, we'll put you back together, because there was so much I knew we could help people do proactively and to keep them well, not just healthy. So I stopped doing patient care and went into coaching, got certified as a wellness coach, and started my own business doing coaching and speaking and corporate wellness.
What is a wellness coach?
Wellness coaching is a subset of life coaching.
Okay.
But given my background, I stay just in the wellness. So
Sure.
wellness coaching, I cover things such as how your sleep and your eating and your exercise and your stress management and your mindset, your thought patterns, how they all come together, and time management is a big one, how they affect each other. So if you are under a lot of stress, you may not sleep well, your food choices are different, you have less energy, less patience, less creativity, and then the food choices affect how you sleep, how you move, how your stress levels are, they just all play together.
Okay.
So I help people tease that out and make a change.
So that's a lot different than a life coach. Just focus on more on your head and your thoughts and that type of thing. You focus more on the other things, outside things.
The body and the mind.
Okay.
And given my background, people who have a diagnosed disease, I understand that. We can piece that in. I understand the medicines they're on or what their doctor has told them.
Okay.
So the wellness part is just a better fit for me, staying in that zone.
What else does You Bloom Wellness do?
I do a lot of things under the wellness umbrella. So some corporate wellness companies sometimes ask for coaching or programming, lunch and learns. I do speaking, coaching, one-to-one coaching, group coaching, anything that falls under that wellness scope, managing stress, programming on mind-body connection or mindfulness.
Okay. When you and I spoke a while ago, you said that a lot of issues you see is work-life balance.
Yes.
And I think that's a big issue with a lot of people that may be watching. Can you give the audience a few tips on how they can
Sure.
help with that work-life balance as best as they could, I guess?
Yeah, work-life balance is a big issue because we all have way too much going on. My definition of work-life balance is it's not the scales where you find a perfect balance point. It's more like the spinning plates, and you need to constantly give attention to whatever fits in your values and is your priority, and that may change day to day, year to year. It's very fluid. So work-life balance is about identifying your values, prioritizing those, and you need to nurture yourself, which is where the watering can.
I was going to ask you about this.
Why does she come with a watering can? So if I am a gardener and I am watering and nurturing my plants and flowers, I'm taking care of them. As a mother, a daughter, I am watering and nurturing and loving my family, feeding them, providing for them, being there for them. When my watering can is empty, I'm worthless. Just like if I'm watering flowers and the watering can is empty. So I need to replenish and nurture myself. That would look like I need to manage my stress, I need to eat well, I need to take care of my mind and body, so I need to have some relaxation and fun, I need to exercise, really knowing that I need to keep my can full. When my can is empty, I have no patience, I have nothing left constructive to give. So helping people realize that self-care is not an indulgence. It's important. You need to take care of yourself to be able to take care of others. That's sort of where the focus I come from with the work-life balance. Something has to go if you're not happy the way it is, but by saying no to something, you are saying yes to something else, usually something for you that replenishes or nurtures you.
Laura, I love that analogy with the watering can. I think that really helps people visualize that.
Yeah.
Do you do individual coaching?
Yes, I do individual coaching. I do group coaching. Individual is often on the phone. People always ask that. And group coaching can be on the phone or it can be a live setting. So I can have a space and people meet for a series of weeks.
What are some signs that someone needs to talk to a wellness coach? Because someone might think, well, I'm okay, I don't need that. So what are some signs they should be looking for, that they need to call you or call a wellness coach?
Which is interesting because we have so much stress in our lives, it becomes the normal.
Right?
That's just what
It's
life is.
just how it is.
And we get used to the faucet that has dripped for 6 months and we haven't had time to get to it. We get used to the traffic. We get used to eating in our car. We get used to our clothes being a little too tight and we are so tired and cranky. That's our norm. So we don't notice it because it creeps up on us. So if you are noticing, a lot of people first notice that they just aren't having fun anymore. There is no joy. They haven't done their hobby in a long time. They notice that they snap and they're irritable. Or a family member notices that and shares it with them. So when you feel like you've lost that spark or that joy, it may be time to meet with a wellness coach, even a life coach, get some different perspective. Coaching is, I don't tell you what to do. I don't tell you that there's something wrong with you, because there's not. We help identify, this is where you are, this is what your life looks like and feels like now. This is where you want to be. How do we connect those two? How do we get you from here to there? Okay. So I'm like the training wheels while you're finding your balance, making the new habits. Once you've got it, you take the training wheels off. You don't need me anymore. You're good. So I'm a temporary measure to help you create the new habits, because there's knowing and doing.
That's the thing. We know we should be doing something, but just getting to do it.
Getting to do it is extremely hard if you don't have support and accountability. So that is my role. And as a nurse and a wellness educator, I make sure people have the correct and current research and information they need, so that we're moving forward from the same current point.
That's great, Laura. I think you hit on something when you said we just accept it as a norm. I'm tired because this is how it is, I'm so busy. Or I have to eat in the car because I'm running here and there, and that's not really the norm. So
it doesn't have to be your norm.
Doesn't have to be.
Yeah, at least not every day. Start very small. Maybe one day a week you eat a meal at home in a chair at a table.
Start out very small. Is there anything else that you wanted to add for the audience that may be watching?
I could show this. This is a graphic. Basically what I do, this is a overwhelmed lifestyle. You've got your components, your sleep, your stress, your eating, your exercising, your thought process in there, but it feels chaotic, it looks chaotic. Okay. I help people transition to a smoother, more fluid, better feeling
And that looks a lot better.
Yeah, same pieces are there, but it just looks more manageable, feels more manageable.
That's great. So Laura, if someone is watching and thinks, I do need to talk to a wellness coach, what would the first step be? To give you a call for a consultation, or how does that, what are the steps? How does it work?
They could check my website, ubloomwellness.com, to see my philosophy. They could call me. My number is on there, but it's 412-596-9516. And we have a conversation just to see if we would work well together. I can help them clarify what it is they want. They may not actually benefit from working with me, and I could make another suggestion to them. And then we take it from there. Help them clarify what they want. Where can you get that?
That's great. Thank you so much,
You're
Laura, for
welcome.
being here today and taking time out of your day, and for bringing the watering cans. I think that's really, people will remember that. And think, my watering can is just about empty. Thank you.
Go to the watering can.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Empowering Women. And I hope these women empowered and inspired you to be the best that you could be. Pam gave great information if you're looking for a new job. Fawn gave some tips if you need an estate sale, or if you need to purchase something from an estate sale. And Laura talked about work-life balance. I hope you enjoyed the show, and see you next time.